invite these members to get a profile of the arresting officer of General Khumalo and the team, Mr. Padayache. Get his profile. You're going to know that Padayache is an ex-crime intelligence member who has never touched a case docket in his life. But IDEC employed him as the senior investigator responsible for the arrest of Khumalo. He's the one who's a boss in that case. This is a person who's now employed to work in an entity of government that is charged with the responsibility in terms of the Amendment Act of the NPA, that they must deal with serious and complex cases. Well, I don't know whether is it serious and complex case to arrest people for having sat in the panel like you are sitting here, and you make recommendations to the higher structure.
You see the paragraph in front of you.
Yes.
Can you comment on it? Does what's stated there meet the requirements of Section 27?
Yes. So
you apply this section. You work. That's what gives you the powers to act, to investigate. As you read that section, regardless of who took the decision, does it meet the requirements of Section 27?
So when I look at it and I see the word suspect, I suspect cover up. It is just my opinion that when I look at this in comparison with what Section 1A said, it is my opinion that these words doesn't give much.
You see the problem with your approach, and you've done this a good few times. The problem with your approach is that you seem to believe that once an allegation has been made, then the Section 27 requirements have been met. Just because Mr. Adams says he suspects without substantiating, then for you that's sufficient.
Yes.
How can that be?
Commissioner, maybe it is such that I see the allegation and I interpret it like that, and I've given the explanation as to why. But that's why
the only explanation you give is that in there a point is made that Mr. Adams suspects.
Yes.
And he suspects without substantiating. So my point is, it seems to me that once an allegation has been made to you, the requirements of Section 27 have been met, and surely that cannot be.
No, that cannot be, Chair. That I understand.
So again, I will ask you again, have a look at paragraph 5 and tell me, as you read it, whether you are of the view, the firm view, that the requirements of Section 27 have been met.
Commissioner, when I look at paragraph 5 and 6 and the requirements.
I'm asking you about 5 only. That's the last thing Commissioner Badoy was
Yes.
engaging you on.
When I look at paragraph 5, because of the words used, and looking at the Act, I can say that...
Bearing in mind that there's no substantiation at all.
Sorry,
bearing in mind that there's no substantiation, the suspicion that Mr. Adams is expressing
Yes.
has not been substantiated.
Yes, sir.
Bearing that in mind, are you saying that the requirements of Section 27 have been satisfied?
No, sir. That's my answer.
Now, you also seem to, my sense is that you believe that because, as you allege, you did not have sight of this referral affidavit, that makes your position or your situation better. I take the view that it actually makes your position worse. How could you go ahead with an investigation without even check for yourself that there was a well-grounded referral? How could you do that? Bearing in mind, as you said when I engaged you earlier, that there may be instances where you may have to query the instruction that you should investigate. So your position actually gets worse if you go ahead with an investigation without having seen the referral affidavit. It doesn't get better. Do you agree with me?
I take what you say, Chair. and I understand what you
Do
say.
you agree with me?
I would agree with you, Chair.
And why would you not have insisted to see the referral affidavit here?
That's why I was continuing on what I was saying, Chair.
Yes.
When you mentioned
Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, is getting vindicated with each passing day. Vindicated on the things that he had raised during his press briefing on the 6th of July last year, 2025. What has emerged before the Madlanga Commission, which of course is a byproduct of that press briefing Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi held on the 6th of July. What is emerging before the Madlanga Commission just goes to show you the rot that is within the criminal justice system in this country. Leave the fact that those useless politicians who sit in parliament decided to compete with the Madlanga Commission merely for attention, because the politicians, the likes of Julius Malema, it has become very clear now that they pushed for the establishment of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee mainly for two reasons. Reason number one is because they suffer from what we call the main character syndrome. They realize that the spotlight and the attention of the country will be on the Madlanga Commission. So true to their nature, because they are attention seekers, they decided to push for the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. The second reason, it was for them to defend and protect their friends who are within the South African Police Service, but not only that, also the other structures of the criminal justice system. So what they were doing with this Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, it was to provide a platform and an outlet for their corrupt friends to be able to cleanse their names. You don't have to go far to understand what I'm talking about. Look at their report, their Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee report, which has exonerated the likes of Senzo Mchunu, Shadrack Sibiya, IDEC, and all of those. That tells you about just how useless that Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee is. And we must applaud the work that the Madlanga Commission is doing, and has definitely vindicated Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and has proven him to be a hero for the downtrodden masses of this country who are victims of the crime that is perpetrated by criminals who have bought politicians in this country. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Debus Kosan. Come on.